So now that we kind of know what our savings plan is going to be utilized for and why we're creating one, it's now time to get some information here. So I have revenues, expenses, and net income, but I need some extra cells in here to be able to list some revenues and what I make my money from. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select rows 3 through 5 on the left over here, clicking on the number and dragging, which selects the entire row all the way across the spreadsheet. And I'm going to go ahead and right click and insert. With all three selected, 3 through 5, it's actually going to insert all of them onto the spreadsheet at the same time. So it's going to insert 3 rows above my click. So 3 rows above row 3 or expenses. And when I hit insert, I'll see that happen. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to insert a row above revenues. So I'm going to right click on the 2 and I'm going to hit insert. And we're going to create some for the next few months. Now I'm currently in the month of October, so I'm going to create one for November. And then I can actually create December and January by using my fill handle. So I can hit my check mark right here. And if you think about it, the fill handle does patterns. So I can take that and I can fill handle it across through January. So I'm going to create a savings plan for November in column B, December in column C, and January in column D. Now, you can keep going. Now, remember, this is a savings plan. This is not what I've done in the past. So this is me assuming I'm going to make some money. And this is me then creating an assumption on how much I would spend on my expenses to then figure out what I want to try and plan to save for that month. And this is a goal. It's kind of like a budget, what you're saving for, what you're working towards, how much you want to spend, those types of things. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're looking at this. And let's pretend that everybody's doing the same thing because that just makes this easier. And you're a teenager and you're like, I don't know, 17 or 18, you've got a job, you're working, and you're spending your money on teenager things. Now, obviously, when you leave your parents' home and you go out to live on your own, you're probably going to be paying things that you're not paying for right now, like rent, right? Utilities, so water, sewer, garbage, electricity. And yes, if you didn't know you had to pay to poop, you have to pay to poop. So I like to talk about that because a lot of people, I mean, I had seniors multiple years in a row who we'd do a budgeting plan and we'd get to the end of it and I would have heard them walking around my room trying to figure out what they're spending money on in this activity. And they'd walk up to water and they'd be like, why would I pay for water? I can just buy that at the store. And I'm like, no, you have to pay for water to shower, like to do dishes, all those kinds of things. And same thing for sewer and garbage and electricity. And people like don't realize that you pay for all those things. So rent, utilities, maybe you're paying more for your car maintenance. You might have some other expenses like internet, your cell phone, Netflix, all those types of things. Those are things you're not paying for right now. So don't take them for granted because your parents are paying for a lot of things. Toilet paper, they're paying for your toilet paper. That's important. Okay. And we found that out during the pandemic. So right here, we're going to kind of create a plan. So let's say you've got a job. Okay, it's a part-time job. You're making money from it. Great. So in row 4, I'm going to put job. Let's say on the side, maybe you do some miscellaneous things, like you do some, like right now, if you're a teenager at home, maybe you get an allowance or you do some chores, right? Maybe you have like a little job with your parents or an agreement. So we've got an allowance, if I could spell the word allowance. And then you've also got something like maybe you just go out and you rake leaves for people around town, or you help grandma every once in a while. You've just got some miscellaneous expenses. And then I'm going to add one more in here, or sorry, revenues. I'm going to add one more here, and I'm going to put in birthdays and holidays because as a teenager and a child, most of the time, like grandma or like your parents, or maybe you're just asking for money. When you become an adult, it's when you get married or have children. That's when you get money. So you might be getting money from like your birthdays and your holidays, right? Okay, so we've got that there. I'm going to take revenues and I'm going to merge that across here as kind of like a title. And actually, I'm going to hit Control Z. Instead of merging and centering, I'm just going to merge it across. So you can hit this drop down menu right here for merge and center and merge across. Make it all one cell. Make it all have one color. Like I'm going to make it green because, you know, it's money coming in, so it's good money, right? And I've got a title there, but I still have my labels for my different months here. And then I'm going to do some expenses here. So I'm going to take net income. Instead of inserting a bunch of rows, I'm just going to move net income down. So with net income selected, I can click on the border and I can move that down to like row 15, and we can, you know, move it wherever we want to when we're done. And I'm going to list out some expenses that maybe a teenager would have, right? Or like you would have. So the number one thing I always hear from all my students is food. You guys buy food. Like, I don't know what it is, but you guys love going out to eat. going to the store, hitting a gas station, whatever, you're getting food, right? Maybe you've got some hobbies. Hobbies would be like, I don't know, you're collecting, cards. Maybe you're a book lover. Maybe you are somebody who plays sports. Maybe you're doing something else that just requires some money. And then you've got entertainment. And I don't know, some people like put video games and like watching TV and all those as hobbies, because some people do those as hobbies. But we're gonna kind of list it out because like when we're not in a pandemic, you like go to the movies, or maybe you want to go to a concert, or maybe you're purchasing something on Amazon Prime for an entertainment. Those types of things are what I'm talking about for entertainment. So usually like food, hobbies, entertainment, right? Most of the time I hear clothes, like a lot of people buy clothes, teenagers, shoes. A lot of guys buy shoes on a regular basis, all those kinds of things. And then like maybe you have, you know, a significant other. So you're spending money on your significant other, like girlfriend, boyfriend, maybe just somebody you hang out with and kiss a lot. I don't know, one of those things. And then you've got, just miscellaneous things that you're obviously spending money on. Maybe you go out this one time and you're buying gas for your car, or maybe you found something really cool on Amazon. You're like, yep, got to get that. So those are just things that you have for your expenses. So I'm going to take expenses. I'm going to merge that across through column D as well, not merging and centering, just merging across. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a kind of like an orange feeling because, revenues is money coming in, expenses is money going out. And then we're going to have net income. And I'm going to leave net income the way it is because that's actually going to be a calculation we create in the end. So this is kind of what my savings plan looks like at this point. If you need to make sure you're up to date before you move on to the next video, there it is for you. And we're good to go to start putting in some numbers.